It's a university where you can expand your skills. You can expand your talent, where the school itself can help you grow in whatever that you really desire about. Okay? So it's about helping you making something tangible. It's like making your next iPhone, for example, your next iPad, you know. Like I said, I put it over here because I strongly agree. I strongly have the opinion that UC Berkeley, MIT, Stanford, not necessarily be the school for you. It may be a good school for me because of the circumstances that I was in, but it's not necessarily be the good school for you. So don't always say that if I don't get into UC Berkeley, that's the end of my life. You know, that's not right. I work in a company where UC Berkeley only represented by 4 people. A lot of them comes from Georgia Tech, a lot of them comes from Ohio State, some MITs, but UC Berkeley and Stanford is very minority in my company. And the company itself does really well in terms of the engineering. So it's all about the person itself getting the best out of themselves in the school itself, okay? So keep that in mind. So no pressure. Next. Like I said, university is only a mean to reach your final goal. Whatever it is that you want to be in your life, think about how you can get there and what university can help you get there. All right? Next. All right, I think I will talk about that. Yeah. What's the common thing about Steve Jobs, Larry Page, Sergey Brin, and Larry Ellison? Who's Larry Ellison? Who's Larry Ellison? I believe he is the CEO of Oracle. Who's Larry Sergey? Google. Who's Steve Jobs? Obviously, Google, right? So what do they have in common?
They're CEOs.
They're CEOs. They're a bunch of CEOs, right?
They're all university dropouts.
Exactly. They all don't have college degree. Okay. So university, again, like I said, university is only a mean for you to reach your goal. Steve Jobs obviously very, very fond of creating new stuff for people, right? He believes he doesn't need university to reach that goal or his passions. So he's a successful man. He left $6.5 billion to his family, and I believe he has a couple millions of shares for Apple. Multiply that 1 million, multiply by what, $360 maybe a day? $360 per share right now.
420.
Yeah, that's how much he has for his family now. Same of these people here, right? It's cool. Okay, and last thing I want to talk about, university itself, each of them has different characteristics. They're good at certain stuff. Go ahead. I can tell you from my experience, UC Berkeley, Stanford, MIT is very good at the research program. So if you want to be one of those that teach in the university, which apparently, well not apparently, which actually is something that I know that I like to teach. And that's the reason why I choose UC Berkeley and Stanford. Because they have a very good academic program where people got trained really well so that they can be the next teacher of the next generations. How many people know San Luis Obispo? Cal Poly, that's right. Cal Poly, San Luis Obispo, or Georgia Tech. They are very good at the lab experience. So if you like to create your own vehicles, create your own solar panels, create your own stuff, that's where you want to go, because they focus on more hands-on lab experimental work. So I heard from my friend who graduated from San Luis Obispo, they have, I think when they were in the 4-year university, they have 11 classes that have lab. And then they basically spend day in, day out doing their projects over there. Okay? Santa Clara University. Who knows about this school? You know about that school? Okay. Santa Clara University is not well known for engineering school, but they do have some engineering program, but they are very well known for their network. People that is working in the Silicon Valley, a lot of the executive that works in the Silicon Valley, Apple, you name it, Apple, Google, Facebook, typically all the executives will have connections to Santa Clara University. So if you want to get exposed to the business itself, if you want to get to know about how you can become the next Steve Jobs, There's the connections over there, Santa Clara. Okay, there's so many other things. I don't really put some things that I know. But each school itself, again, like I said, is very unique in their program and what they do best. So if you are, for example, I don't really like, well, my talent is not in creating vehicles, for example. But my talent is more about understanding how material behaves, how does a material fail, and all that stuff. So that's the reason why I go to UC Berkeley, because they have a lot more in-depth knowledge about how someone should be able to understand about how things should fail. And in UC Berkeley, I was taking, for example, composite class. I was studying how a lot of engine or no, a lot of wings in the airplane typically fail during the early days of an airplane. So airplane is my passion. So also my passion, but that's the reason why I took those classes, because it helped me understand how a fatigue grows and how does they improve their design and all that stuff. So UC Berkeley and their program helped me to understand those more. All right, next. So knowing where you want to go to your school, now it's time about you looking at yourself. Next. Basically, in your personal statement is the only chance for the university to know you. Next. It's the only one time that they will get to know you in that brief moment, maybe 5 to 10 minutes. Instead of talking to you, since they have maybe 10,000 people applying for the school, they can't really talk to you one by one. Instead of doing that, they choose to read your paper, read your essay. So you have to see this as your personal testimony and as a way for you to interview with the university. You need to know what they're about. They need to know what you're about. Okay. So I always encourage people, when you try to make your personal statement, always think about you having a personal interview, job interview. How many of you have any job interview before? All right. Okay. So some of you are already exposed to some of the typical scrutiny about job interview, right? Next. So go to the next three. Yeah. In the interview, people usually like to talk about what is your success story. You know, what's the value that you want to bring to my company, for example, right? So you need to account for all your success story. How you can overcome issues in your life, in your personal life. It can be in your personal life, or it could be you're struggling in school. Like some of the stuff, maybe you're dealing with people that doesn't want to do together in your project. They're slacking behind. How would you motivate them? How would you encourage them to put their share in the work, right? Tell them about your passion. Again, you have to know what's your passions, right? What's your hobby? Because hobby is something that you will not die and bore out of doing. You know, it's basically you always want to do your passions, your hobby. If you like to fly airplane, like the RC airplane, you're probably going to be interested in, you know, understanding about how does the remote control works, how does the wing works, how does the flap works, the elevator works, and all that stuff.